Real Madrid saw the European Super League as an opportunity for a financial boost. Albeit much needed, Florentino Perez's insistence might cost the Spanish giants dearly. Leeds United are getting close to signing a player who could propel the team to the next level. Spotify could become Arsenal's next owners. Konate out anyone? Luke Shaw set to sign a new deal with Manchester United. Goalsiders, we've got this and more coming your way on this episode of Goalside News. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe to our channel, since the upcoming days are going to be very interesting, and you can't afford to miss out on some major developments in the game. So, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it right now. Juventus stepping up pursuit for star goalkeeper. AC Milan goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma looks more and more likely to leave the San Siro this summer, with the vultures flying above. The young Italian shot-stopper has so far not committed fresh terms and might end up leaving the Rossoneri for free this summer. According to Corriere dello Sport, Juventus have already started tempting the player into leaving for Turin through his representatives. Milan are keen on holding on to one of their most important players, but they might lose him for nothing this summer. However, Juventus might face a fight on their hands, since Manchester United have been quietly monitoring the player's situation in the last few months, and they might make their move. For their part, AC Milan have already started searching for potential replacements, and those searches have led them to Lille, where they've been impressed by Mike Maignan. The 25-year-old is reportedly eager to take the next step in his professional career and might prove to be a capable long-term replacement. Manchester City expecting big things from new signing. Only recently, Manchester City completed the signing of Brazilian teenager Kaique from Fluminense for just £9 million. Kaique is considered one of the most talented players in South America and has been tipped for a great career ahead. The youngster's going to stay in Brazil until the end of this year and will then link up with the English Giants. While earlier reports suggested that the citizens might loan him out, it now appears that Pep Guardiola doesn't want that to happen, and he's looking to create a path to the first team for him. Andrea Belotti, a wanted man. Torino striker Andrea Belotti is expected to be one of the most sought-after players in Italy this summer. Reports claim that the striker is attracting interest from the likes of Roma, AC Milan and Inter Milan. With the Turin Giants currently fighting for survival in the Serie A, Belotti might want to finally leave for a club where he'll have a bigger chance of winning things. Liverpool agree terms with Konate. According to The Guardian, Merseyside Reds soccer club, Liverpool, are closing in on RB Leipzig stalwart Ibrahima Konate. The same report claims that the Reds are willing to splash €35 million for the player and have already agreed personal terms with him. Konate's arrival is going to be a massive boost for Jurgen Klopp's side, who've had an awful 2021 and are also struggling to make it into the top 4 this season. Leeds United close in on star left-back. In a previous video, we reported Leeds' need for a recognised fullback, and now it appears that Marcelo Bielsa's men are closing in on a left-back who's going to add a load of class to their attack. According to the Daily Mail, Leeds are closing in on a move for the Argentinian international Nicolas Tagliafico. Ajax are even willing to let go of their star player for only £13 million, which is a steal in any sort of financial situation. The 27-year-old has spent 4 seasons in the Dutch Eredivisie and has gained enough experience to truly shine in the English Premier League. You've got to feel that Tagliafico is going to be a huge success at Leeds, since he looks to be a perfect Bielsa player. Speaking of Bielsa, Leeds owner Andrea Raggiazzini is eager to tie down the experienced manager to a long-term deal. And while the former Athletic Bilbao head coach hasn't said yes, it's likely that he will sign an extension and continue doing his bit at Elland Road. Spotify owner interested in Premier League strugglers. Alright, now that the Super League dust has started settling down a little bit, there's a strong likelihood that many clubs will be put up for sale. Arsenal had some financial issues to deal with, which is why they love the idea of the dreaded ESL. Of course, fans aren't happy with that approach and have been protesting against the club owner Stan Kroenke, demanding him to sell the club. The American is unlikely to hand over the club to anyone, but Spotify founder Daniel Ek has thrown his hat into the ring, claiming that he's ready to make a formal offer. Ek posted a message on Twitter on Friday evening declaring his interest in taking the club off the hands of Stan Kroenke, who was the subject of furious fan protests outside the Emirates before the Gunners' game against Everton. It was perceived by some as a publicity stunt, but the Swedish billionaire is believed to be preparing a bid to test the owner's resolve. A few days ago, MMA legend Conor McGregor also flirted with a similar notion, targeting Manchester United as the club he would like to own. Now, we do understand fans wanting these American owners to leave due to a perceived lack of respect for English football in general, but it's not a guarantee that the next man in charge would just come over and make things better. Football ownership is really complicated, and for a good part of 5 years, new owners try to right the wrongs of the previous owners. Speaking of Manchester United, Luke Shaw's been a man in a rich vein of form, hasn't he? The English left-back has become one of the top performers for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side, and such displays earned him an England recall. United fans understandably feel that Shaw is the best left-back in England at the moment, and it appears that the club's senior management shares those views. According to the Daily Star, the Red Devils are set to offer Shaw a lucrative contract offer. The left-back has fought off the challenge of the new signing Alex Telles to make the spot his own, causing the ex-Porto man to feel unhappy about his own position at Old Trafford. At the same time, Manchester United are head over heels for the Leeds United star Rafinha. The Brazilian has been in inspired form for Marcelo Bielsa's side and has a couple of interesting connections at Old Trafford. He played with Bruno Fernandes at Sporting Lisbon and is Fred's teammate for Brazil, and Fred has assumed the role of an agent for the Red Devils by talking up his fellow countryman. Bruno's been talking about Rafinha ever since he arrived. They played together at Sporting. He's a great player, having an amazing season, and a lot of clubs have their eye on him. I met him recently, great guy, excellent player, but I hope he won't be lining up against us. Liverpool have also been linked with the stylish forward, but it remains to be seen if Bielsa would ever allow such a move to happen. Jose Mourinho to Scotland? The moment Mourinho got fired, it became clear that he was no longer the special one. While he just stood by showing absolute stubbornness for his philosophy, the world around him changed. This is why it would be a big surprise if he ends up managing a top side in Europe. We don't mean any disrespect to Celtic by saying that. The Scottish Giants need a new manager and Mourinho is available. Okay, so the Scottish Premier League might not be the most glamorous league out there, but it would be an interesting scenario, at the very least, if Mourinho is at the dugout for the Glasgow Giants. Real Madrid and no Champions League? Slowly but surely, all of us are trying to move on from the terrible idea that was the European Super League, albeit with a shudder of disgust. The very idea of the league boils our blood and makes us think of obscenities we don't normally use. UEFA played the whole thing very cleverly, talked about how the league could be a threat to media and leagues and players. There was even talk of immediate suspension of the Champions League and an automatic title for Paris Saint-Germain. The league has fallen apart quickly and spectacularly. All 6 Premier League clubs caved in the face of serious pressure from fans and governing bodies. However, defeat for some is unimaginable. We expect Florentino Perez to wake up in the middle of the night looking at the stars and scream no, and then cry himself back to sleep. The guy's so detached from reality that he can't admit that the idea is dead. UEFA chairman Alexander Ceferin has been disappointed at the top management of all 12 clubs, but he's developed a special hatred towards Florentino Perez and Juventus president Andrea Agnelli, who's actually his daughter's godfather. The Italian has hurt Ceferin like anything, and there will be consequences for sure. Perez is going to face serious consequences as well. He considers himself a revolutionary, and this self-created idea of him being a knight in shining armour is going to hurt his club. It's been reported that Real Madrid could be banished from this season's Champions League and then banned for the 2021-22 campaign. As they get ready to take on Chelsea in the semi-finals, Zinedine Zidane has already said that banning Madrid for this season's competition is illogical. It's illogical and absurd that we might be disqualified. No, I don't have any worries about the refereeing. We'll play our semi-final as is our right. To be honest, if you're banning Real Madrid, you have to ban Chelsea and Man City as well for good measure, and give their spot to the teams they beat. Why make one club a scapegoat? All clubs had a role to play, and just because they backed out and said sorry, doesn't mean they should be forgiven and their acts should be forgotten. But we also understand why Real Madrid are more under fire. Their president hasn't changed his stance at all, and doesn't want to leave the Super League behind. ego, pride, or whatever reason, Perez has created an issue for his own club. But for Madrid fans, don't worry, we don't think that your team's going to be kicked out of the competition this season. However, if your president continues to defy UEFA by staying on board with the ESL concept, you might want to steer clear of the Champions League anthem for next season. So that's it for today. What do you think about Real Madrid's situation? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe.